Tonight on the Black Channel, what we have here, folks, is a situation shaping up. I posted about this earlier this week. Guess who is saying that they are officially supporting reparations for FBA? Now, I know that your initial knee-jerk response is going to be, nigga, what? But I implore you, folks, my response is probably not going to be what you're thinking. So let me go ahead and show you here directly from his Twitter account. None other than Luther Campbell, who is currently running for Congress, unless Debbie Wasserman Schultz has something to say about it, because now she wants to get in, as I predicted. But Luther Campbell posted this on his Twitter account. When I'm elected to Congress, I'm pushing for reparations for foundational Black Americans, descendants of slaves in America. Reparations means justice, economic repair, land ownership, opportunity, and restoring wealth stolen for generations. It's time for accountability. Make sure you're on the right side of history. Folks, I don't have a single problem with a syllable that I heard in there. That is the platform. That's the platform right there. I cannot have an issue with that. So if you want to know what my immediate response to that would be, I'll be like, okay, I'm listening. You've got my attention. Now, let me go ahead and address a couple of things because, like I say, I understand what your reflexive response would be, and I get that. However, I want you to think a few things over here. First of all, we have to be very clear about what it is that we're looking for. We have to be very clear about what it is that we stand for. So let me just say this, because what I'm about to say next is going to all sound very, very familiar. We have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. That's it. That's it. So before you immediately reflexively revert to, cynicism in that regard, the real thing is, what are you going to say about him that you're not going to say about literally everybody else? I see some folks here, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to catch up here. Well, they're pandering. Well, that's what politicians are supposed to do. What? See, this is what happens when power is new to you. Too many of you don't understand when you're winning. This is a phase change that's going to have to be understood. You're so used to losing that you don't understand how to handle things when you're winning. So you're going to have to start shifting modes and start shifting your mindset here. You're so used to losing that your response to everything is the loser response. And that's not the way that works. When you think about something like AIPAC, do you think that AIPAC doesn't think the politicians are pandering to them? Come on, man. Hit the brake pedal and catch a clue for just half a moment. When they sit up here, all these black politicians talking about how much they love Israel, how much they love Mexico, how much they love the illegal aliens, how much they love LGBT, you think that's not pandering? Excuse me? What is that then? When they do that with them other folk, exactly what is that then? If that's not pandering, what is it? When you are winning, politicians pander to you. When you are winning, politicians acquiesce to you. Politicians are supposed to show up to you repeating your words. That's what they are supposed to do. So let's be very, very clear about the signs you're supposed to look for, which is what all these other groups out there, what they look for. Before he can even walk in the room and talk to you, he is supposed to be making it clear that he understands your position and that he stands behind your position. If you'll all remember, Roland Martin told us we're supposed to do it exactly the opposite way. We're supposed to check to see if they're Democrat first, vote for them first, and then find out if they're going to agree with our positions last, if not ever. Remember? That's what Roland Martin said to do. Vote for the Democrat first. All you need to know is he's not Trump and he's a Democrat, so vote Democrat. And then after you vote for him, after he gets in office, start discussing what your needs are. After that. Now, cynicism is one thing here, but I want we're going to do the adult thing here tonight. We're going to have to do the adult thing here. And by the way, when I open up Zoom here, for some of the folks who are more cynical in the chat room there, I'm probably going to wind up having you all call in so that you can articulate these things. Because the one thing that we cannot have is that when people are responding to what we're saying, folks start class clowning. There's the issue that we have, is that you cannot have a mature movement when progress is made and then people start class clowning. We want people who agitate. We want people who are resistant. We want people who are steadfast. What we don't want is the class clown. Every time you turn around, they're just talking to be talking and negative for the sake of being negative. They're not going anywhere. It's just whatever it is, I say no. What you're seeing on your screen here is a 180-degree turn from what you were seeing previously. The real question you have to ask yourself is why? The real question you have to ask yourself is why? You see, so many of you are used to being powerless that when something actually does start showing that you're not powerless, you still respond as a powerless individual. You're going to have to learn how to outgrow that. You are so used to people being unresponsive to you that that's the only thing that you know how to do. Is they're not responding, they're not listening, I don't believe, they're not responding, I'm not listening, I don't believe. Once you fall into that cycle, it's not going to be very, very helpful if it's time for you to shift gears and you are now physically incapable of shifting gears. Now, here's another issue here. You're going to have some individuals, like I say, you're having trouble shifting gears and shifting gears into power as opposed to powerlessness. You start saying inconsequential things like they're not sincere. Excuse me, you're not here to trust politicians. You're not here to trust politicians. Some of y'all are sitting here waiting for these folk to be people you can sit up here and dance and jig with and smoke a blunt with. And I can't take him to barbecue. I don't believe that right there. You don't know what it's like to have people here that I'm not interested in being friends with them. I mean, if that happened, that's great and cool, but when you have to actually deal with real power and real influence, it's not about folk being friends, being friendly. Do you personally like them? I am not here to relitigate me so horny and nasty as you want to be. Not when we are talking about our reparations. On something else, that's one thing. But there are too many folk who all you know how to do is respond and whine. And it's like, okay, well, here things are changing. I'm whining some more, whine. It's time to get serious because, hey, there's somebody over here who is speaking the talk that you are and is saying what you're saying. It would be malfeasant for us to not say, okay, let's open the floor to that. The discussion should always be about that. The discussion should always be about our issues. That should be the only thing. And they are, when they are saying exactly what we've been saying, those are the people who should get preference, but that doesn't mean the deal is sealed. What we're saying here is that, okay, congratulations, you have bought yourself time to make your case. That's the mature response. The mature, developed response is when somebody comes through like this, especially with our experience, we are right to be cynical. But when they say this right here, what we say is, no, you haven't gotten our vote. What you have gotten is time and an opportunity, since it looks like you might not be here to waste my time. You might not be here to waste my time. So now that you have made your initial pitch here, what you have done is bought yourself some time to make your case. And this is when we start vetting and kick the tires and express what your issues are and start getting those things etched in stone. See, too many folks, your idea of being active in politics is sitting in the comment section or sitting on Twitter, sitting up whining and pitching and moaning and complaining. That's not action. No, we are not here to give our vote. What we are here is to give you a hearing. And that's what this is. You are asking, what you're saying is that this is what you're going to stand for. Okay, what you have now done is you have bought yourself time and space for us to have continued discussion. Since from what I'm seeing here, it looks like what you're saying is you do not want to waste my time initially. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to make your case that this isn't a waste of my time. Now that you said this, we're going to see about vetting things out and seeing if it's a waste of time or not. What you do after this is going to determine everything else. Now, people, that's what happens with the LGBT. That's what happens with the Israel lobby. That's what happens with the Catholics. That's what happens with all these other folk. They don't sit up here and play them kind of games and let me start trolling for attention and get the damn children up out of here. That doesn't mean that somebody puts up a tweet and then we vote for them. I understand some of your ADHD is real slow. Jason's saying vote for him. I never said that. I said this is an opportunity to make your case. Try to keep up. I know it's difficult. The lead pipes got you bogged down. I understand, but try to keep up. So Luther Campbell sitting in Florida is saying that he wants to push for reparations for foundational Black Americans. Now, folks, here's what you do next. Now, I've said this for years, but a lot of folks don't really listen or they have trouble following patterns. So the next thing you do, folks, is when a politician claims that this is what he stands for, you require them to say it repeatedly. That's called a platform. If this is their platform, then you require them to repeat this. You require them to say this wherever they go. You don't get to just say this one time and then it never gets mentioned again. No, you will be required to tell everybody who wants to vote for you that this is what they will be voting for. When Donald Trump ran for president, he said, build that wall. He said it over and over and over and over again. This is what it's going to be. So if you're voting for him, you are voting to stop the illegals and remove the illegals. And he had to say it over and over and over and over again. So it's very clear that if he's not being sincere, well, you could be lying, but you're telling people that this is what they're going to get. So if you're lying, this isn't going to be very constructive. On account of the fact that you are declaring to people that if they vote for you, this is what they will be getting. So if you keep saying that over and over again, everybody who votes for you knows this is what it's going to be. As opposed to they say something one time and then off they run. You see, politicians have a responsibility, but the electorate has a responsibility also, and the electorate has the responsibility to hold their feet to the fire. This is not about if they like you. This is not about if they're pandering. This is not about if they really even want this. This is about what Dr. Claude Anderson always taught us, quid pro quo, this for that. It's our job to have a solid agenda and know exactly what it is we want. Don't worry, I'm going to get into all the points here tonight, but what I'm saying is that for any politician, for any aspiring politician, for any person who wants your vote, you should not vote for them first and then figure out what you're going to get out of them last before they can even discuss you waking up to get out of bed. They need to be discussing what it is that they stand for that you agree with. If this is an issue that matters to you, then damn it, it better matter to them. It doesn't matter if they really agree with it or not. If this issue is real to you, then it better be also real to them. And you have to extract those promises and extract that understanding on the front end. You are required to extract that on the front end. That's what you are required to do. As a competent, responsible electorate, that's what you're required to do. You're required to do that. Now, I do want you all to understand I'm jumping into this real quick here because I think that's very, very essential. I'm jumping into this very, very quick because I want you all to be aware of what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the Zoom here now. And there are a few folks who have been very vocal. I'm very glad that you were, because this is an opportunity for us to have an open forum about this. So in the chat room in there, I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand. We're going to require you to go ahead and give us a call on Zoom. There's the link to the Zoom there in the chat room. So I don't understand is required to go ahead and give us a call. So I don't understand. Go ahead and give us a call up here on Zoom. Very glad that we have an open forum for this so that we can discuss the nuances of this, because certainly we know that folks are not sitting up here crack pipe smoking and trolling. So I don't understand is going to be required to give us a call. So let's go ahead and get them up here. They got 2 minutes to go ahead and be on Zoom. The link is pinned to the chat room. So very, very glad you had that. Skepticism is warranted. Skepticism is absolutely sensible, but I need to know what your game plan is in addition to your skepticism. It is not enough for you to be the crack smoking kid in the back of the classroom talking about say no to everything.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know what that does to you?
So you can't just be the ADHD lead pipe baby in the back of the classroom talking about say no to everything. What you say no to. We have to understand what we're going to say yes to also. You have to understand what you will say yes to also. There are responsibilities for your aspiring politicians, but there's also severe responsibilities for the electorate. As a matter of fact, the responsibilities rest more with the electorate because we are the ones who are affected by these things most adversely. Now, there's a reason why I'm not saying everything, because some of the folk who are I start the program and some of the people who are expressing negativity about it, I'm like, that's great. That's wonderful. We're going to have a two-way conversation about this. So I'm not saying everything. I see what some of their arguments might be. We're going to go ahead and let them make their arguments first, and then I'll respond to that at that time. I'm not going to say it in advance because you want to make sure you're dealing with people who are being sincere. So once again, people who are just interested in sitting on the internet and playing with their toes or whatever, it's, we don't do that. We don't do that. When you have aspiring politicians and they are saying the right thing, we have to send the signal of what we respond to. Please understand that if your attitude is you don't respond to anything, you're sending the message to the body politic, you're sending a message to the political class that you're basically dead cells. You do not want to do that. The point of sitting on the couch was for all the pollsters and politicians to make it clear, those of us who voted for Barack Obama, I was one of them in 2008, even though I lived in Louisiana, even though it wouldn't have done any good, we sent a very clear message in 2008 with a bunch of people saying that he couldn't win. By the way, there were a bunch of folks saying that he couldn't win. How'd that turn out? So you can't just listen to every jackass and every mama's boy sitting in the comment section talking silly. So for those of us who showed up in 2008, that sent a big signal. But you know what sent a bigger signal? When we didn't show up in 2012 and 2016. That sent an even bigger message. That is the impact of vote for the couch. The impact of vote for the couch that they are now finally admitting and conceding was correct was that they saw all those Barack Obama voters that they know are still out there who are telling them straight to their faces, we are not showing up to vote. That has sent a crystal clear message to the political class. We're not simply lazy, apathetic people. We are doing this deliberately and consciously as strategy. You are not offering us or motivating us any justifiable reason to get up and go vote for you. We're done with the excuses. We're done with the scapegoating. We're done with the buck passing. You don't have any problem standing up loud and bold for every damn body else, even if their issues are not very popular. Even if their issues are not very popular, you don't have a damn problem standing up for them, sink or swim. These folks don't just stand up for folk because, well, this is an 80-20 issue and most people agree with this, so I'll stand up for this issue here because most people agree with it. That's not the way that happens. In the chat room, Brick Squared and Bernadette Simple need to give me a call up here on Zoom. Very glad that you all are weighed in on this. I want to go ahead and get you all's thoughts about this. So since you said that, Brick Squared and Bernadette Simple, y'all need to go ahead and hit the Zoom link. You all need to go ahead and hit the Zoom link since you have made it clear that you want to be seen and you're going to stand up and you have some very pointed opinions. Very glad to hear that. Need you to go ahead and hit up on Zoom here. So Brick Squared and Bernadette Simple, you got 2 minutes to go ahead and hit us up on Zoom. The link is pinned there on the chat room. You can see where it says call us. So go ahead and hit that link for us here. Let's go ahead and get that. I want you all to understand how politics works here. The way that politics works, folks, is that people take a look and see how things are going. The established order, as you were taught by Niccolo Machiavelli, what they taught you there was that people who are doing well and prospering under the established corrupt order, it's hard to get people to move from the established corrupt order because these people are either doing very well under the way things are, or they're afraid of what might happen to them if the status quo changes. So status quos change slowly by their definition, which in many ways is a good and healthy thing. Imagine if societies changed radically overnight. It would be unlivable. So things tend to change slowly. You have to be perceptive enough to see when things are changing. You have to be perceptive enough for that. The Democrats, of course, are going to be backing Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They're going to be backing the establishment. But there is something for us to be gained if it becomes very clear to them that the establishment is not as rock solid as they want people to believe. Our job is to make it clear that we understand that we are not here to make friends. We are here to make progress and to make change. So understand how things work in politics, people. This is going to be difficult because a lot of y'all, is just no offense to the folks raised by single moms. A lot of y'all were raised in catty households where somebody said something you don't like back in 1978 and you still mad about it today. People, the idea that folk that you have differences with or are your political enemies 1 week, and it's like, okay, it's time to shift gears. No, we don't do that. That's not the way that works. That is not the way that works. That works when you're looking for friends. That's not the way that works when you are employing people or when you're contracting to people. That's not the way that works. So some of you are going to have to make the transition from thinking that politicians are supposed to be your boyfriends and girlfriends and lovers and best friends and family members. Some of you are going to have to make the change to realize, no, these are just your elected representatives. Your attitude toward them has to be cold and objective. You're like, can he show up and play some dice with me? No, he probably won't do that and shouldn't do that. Can I let him drive my kids to school? I mean, I don't know. You sure you can't drive your own kids? I won't know how much I can trust them. So in politics, there is a process. We have to abide by that process. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. It looks like I might have Bernadette up here on Zoom for me. If we do have Bernadette, we'll go ahead and see if we can. Bernadette, just to make sure we don't have any trolling issues, Bernadette, just make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on for me, just so we don't have any trolling issues. YouTube is not going to see you. No one else is going to see you, just to make sure that we have a conversation and not people trolling. I just want to make sure we have that. So Bernadette, I can give you 5 seconds to go ahead and do that for me here, Bernadette. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. I can give you 3 more seconds to do that, Bernadette. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. All right, Bernadette. Now you want to go ahead and explain your position.
We're talking about Luke, right?
Okay, your volume is real low, ma'am. Try to get a little closer to your phone.
Well, okay, Luke has been going against us for years, and Tariq, and saying how stupid FBA is and how he doesn't like us and we're stupid. Now he's running for Congress, and now, I mean, all of them are trying to get on the same page with us, and I don't trust any of them.
Ma'am, we're not. But ma'am, do you think we're supposed to trust politicians, Bernadette? I covered this already. Do you think we're supposed to trust politicians, ma'am?
No, but a lot of people do.
Okay, but but that's what you just said. But okay, but Bernadette, stop, ma'am. You just said that. I don't trust him. So
what do you mean? So
that's why I just said. Are we supposed? What you're advocating for is that we have to trust politicians.
Well, you have to have some kind, I would think, if you're going to vote for someone, you have some level of trust, right?
Okay, I trust my people out here. I don't trust politicians. I control politicians. I employ politicians. I do not trust them. Let me try to make this a little bit simpler for you. When you go to Walmart, I don't know if you ever worked at Walmart. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm assuming you've had a job at some point in your life.
But then I have a job.
Okay.
I'm a retired commander. What are you talking about?
Okay, you were in the. Okay, are you saying you were in the military?
Yes.
Okay. That's a yes. Okay, time is short, but that's a yes. Okay, you were in the military. Did your superior officers trust you?
Absolutely.
Okay, if they trusted you, then why do you have a military code of justice and people monitoring you?
Military code, what are you talking about?
Ma'am, if they trust you, why do they have to have a separate set of laws, and why do they have to monitor you if they trust you?
Separate set of laws? What are you talking about?
Ma'am, folks in the I don't know if you're in the military or not. Ma'am, the military has a separate set of laws and rules. Remember, adultery is illegal in the military, for example. That's just one example.
Yeah, but that's a UCMJ.
I just said that. Yes, I just said that.
But you know what? You need to let me speak.
Adultery is not a crime in the civilian world, ma'am.
Well, it is, but it's not.
No, ma'am, it is not a crime. No, it is not.
In some states, it is.
No, ma'am, it is not a crime. No one gets locked up for adultery. That's a lie.
Well, they used to. It's still on the
Okay, no, they don't. So moving past your lie, in the military, they don't trust you. They command you. They don't ask you to do things. They give you orders. That's not what you do with somebody you trust. With someone you trust, you simply make a request. With someone you control, you give them orders. Your employers gave you orders, not requests.
No, I gave orders.
Ma'am, you were not a 4-star general, so you had superiors over you.
Yeah, exactly, but the people.
Oh, thank you. You took instructions and orders. Ma'am, the people you gave orders, the people that you gave orders to, you didn't trust them. You ordered them. If you trusted them, you would have sent them an email, worded very nicely, and waited for them to get done.
Sometimes you do.
No, sometimes you do, but not always.
How do you know? Have you been in the military?
Ma'am, are you out of your mind? Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're wrong because you don't know how it absolutely works.
Ma'am, you did not send emails to people requesting they do something. You walked up to them and told them what needed to be done, and there were consequences if it were not done. Sometimes. That's the military all the time. Now I don't believe you're in the military at all. That's the way it always works.
You're wrong.
That's the way it always works in the military. You do what you are told, and if you don't, that is insubordination.
It is not insubordination because there are sometimes.
You're telling me that if a commander gives you an order and you don't do it, that's not insubordination.
If it's unlawful. If it's an unlawful order.
Get the hell off my phone. First of all, this is why men don't want to marry chicks from the military, first of all. By the way, if y'all want to know why men don't want to marry females in the military, that right there is your example of why they don't want to be around chicks in the military. Fellas in the military, they'll lay up with chicks in the military. They have no interest because that is what a military chick is like right there. I'm sorry, an old military chick. Like if she's young and she's still got some hood rat in her, that's the difference. Old military chicks, yeah, that right there's. Yeah, she just sitting here lying her ass off. Every single one of us know these people don't give you an order and, well, that's an option. You have no option. If a superior officer gives you an order, that's not a request. And if you don't do it, that's insubordination. They literally have rules for that. It's literally a crime. You can literally be arrested. So we're not going to sit up here and talk silly. So here's what Bernadette going to do. Bernadette is going to go to the BX. You going to find some old nigga out there that you can go argue with on the damn weekend. I'm not him. You ain't fly enough and I'm not broke enough.
Deal with it, nigga.
Yeah, but in any case, so that was the voice of the opposition there. Yeah, she's sitting up here making things up as she goes along. So don't listen to reality. I wish somebody in here would get in the military and then tell the military what you ain't gonna do. You're sitting in the military and you think they give you an instruction or an order and you're gonna talk about what you're not gonna do. Bernadette told me I don't always have to do what you say. I want to know who in the hell is gonna do that. You're gonna join the Marines? Bernadette said I don't have to do that. Bernadette said you can't arrest me for that. Bernadette said you're supposed to always follow my orders. Bernadette said not always. Nuh-uh, not always. Okay, so I'll let that speak for itself. I don't know if she's shell-shocked, PTSD, and talking crazy as hell, but to anybody thinking of joining the military, let me give you a suggestion. If they give you an order, do it. If they give you an order, you are required to do it. Well, Jason, what if it's an unlawful order? It better be, but you're not really going to run into that. So you can follow her nonsense if you want to. You paid your money and take your chances. But there's some old niggas trotting around the damn base in their Dodge Ram, and she can holler at them. In any case, please understand here, folks, we don't trust politicians. That's silly talk. That's dummy talk. We don't trust politicians. You control politicians. You instruct politicians. You order politicians. You don't trust him. There's some of y'all who worked at Walmart. Y'all know the example I'm going to give. Walmart does not trust their employees. Those of you who worked at a casino, The casino doesn't trust their employees. The casinos don't trust anybody who walks in that building. Not the customers, not the employees, not nobody. If somebody trusts you, they're not following you around with a camera. They're not monitoring you. They're not recording all of your emails so they can go back and check on them later. When somebody trusts you, by definition, that means that you are unmonitored, unrestrained, and unsupervised. You can't say you trust someone and then you are monitoring every move they make. That's not trust. There are some of you who are employers. You don't trust your employees. You give them authority. You delegate authority. You give responsibilities. You don't give them trust. If you trusted them, they would be doing in the business unsupervised. I don't know how long you're going to be in business under those circumstances, but the biggest, most successful companies, people, Amazon, AT&T, Walmart, you name it, they track everything. Employees don't have access to the money. If they do, they can track every dollar. They can track every penny. There are cameras sitting over your register. There are cameras sitting at your desk. There are cameras sitting at your station. There are cameras sitting at the front doors, the back doors, the loading docks, the food service pantry, the cafeteria. They're watching everything. That's not trust. Jason, it can be. You're a lying dumbass. How many of you in here are married and you say, well, my husband trusts me. He just keeps a camera on me at all times. He watches everywhere I go. He tracks my car. He knows my movements. He tracks all of my emails. He reviews them. He doesn't let me handle any money. And when I do, he's got cameras over it. How many of you ladies in here who are or have been married, you would say all those things I just said and say, but he trusts me. No, he's got cameras watching everything I do. He doesn't ask me for things. He gives me instructions. He monitors my emails. He monitors my car. He monitors my cell phone conversations. But, he trusts me. He trusts me. He's just really, he's just really strict about security, but he trusts me. And to the men in here, how many fellas in here? My wife, she got cameras on me at all times. She put a tracker in my car. She's got a tracker in my suit. She listens in on my conversations. She follows me everywhere I go. She's got people watching me and reporting back to her where I am. And even if they don't, she can call them up and they'll start reporting on me. But she trusts me though. She trusts me. She just likes to monitor me. She just likes to keep an eye on me. She just likes to monitor me. But, she trusts me. Yeah, now that I've broken that down to second grade English, yeah, that's not what you do with someone you trust. Your job don't trust y'all. Bernadette, newsflash, your job doesn't trust you. Your job employs you. Your job authorizes you. Your job instructs you, but they don't trust you. What was his name from the Godfather Part 2? Your father worked with Hyman Roth. Your father respected Hyman Roth, but your father didn't trust Hyman Roth. And we got old niggas jumping up in 2026 trying to tell me what trust is, and the damn Godfather had to instruct y'all about that 4 decades ago. You can work with these people, you can respect these people, but they don't trust you. They don't trust you. You take a look at how you treat your family, that's trust. These other folk, that ain't trust. And a politician walk in the room, oh hell no. Ain't no trust here, buddy, it's straight business. It is straight business, and you damn right I got my eye on you. Every week this microphone fires up, it's gonna be check-in, nigga. Every week it fires up, it will be check-in. Now that's how you conduct politics, people. You don't trust these damn people. You instruct them. And if they do not do what is necessary, folks, at your job, if you don't do what the employer tells you to do, what the hell happens? You might get a write-up. If you're lucky, you get 2 write-ups, won't be 3. Third time the man got to come tap you on the shoulder and tell you about it. I done told you about that showing up late. Hey, we done told you about that showing up late. Hey, we done told you about that slacking off. Hey, we done told you about that excess lunch. Hey, we done told you about that. This is the second time I've had to tell you about this. Now, you remember what you said when I hired you. Oh, it's all right. We cool. Okay, that man going straight to the back to come write up your termination. That's what you do with someone who you have given them instructions. They told you, yes, put me in the position of access and I will execute your instructions. All right, we're putting you in position. People, you get respect by getting people elected, and you get more respect by kicking their asses out of office.
And deal with it, nigga.
That is a responsible, competent electorate. You take a look at what Donald Trump just did. Thomas Massey tried to go against the grain. I'm not going to say that I agree with every bit of it there, but Thomas Massey tried to go against the grain. Thomas Massey said he was standing on business. Thomas Massey said he was standing on principle. Thomas Massey said he was standing by his convictions. I respect that. I respect all of that. But you also see what the hell happened for him standing by his convictions. Donald Trump said, your ass up out of here. Not next year, you're out of here now. Enjoyed them little 2 years. Now, Massey is not technically out of office yet, that he's not going to have to leave till the end of the year. But, yeah, dude, you's a goner. You done. Yeah, enjoy your time sitting there right there, because we made a statement by putting you in that seat. We're going to make a bigger statement by taking you out of it. Now, that is what a competent electorate does. You don't sit around whining your ass off talking about the good old days at Fort Bragg. What you sit up here and say is that, hey, these are the orders. I'm not here to trust you. I'm here to instruct you. When I come back, what I instructed you to do and what you agreed to do better be done. Now, when I come back round this damn corner in 90 days, it better be done. I came back in 90 days. It's either done or you're done. Well, I'm in office here now. I can fix that. In case you didn't notice, I put your ass there. I can take you out. That is what a competent electorate does. That's the code of a competent electorate. Folks, they've been doing this all over the damn place. They did it to Massey. They done it in Louisiana. They done it in Texas. They done it all over the damn place. Trump is like, every last one of you bastards done gave me hell. You gone right now. You gone this cycle, not next cycle. You gone now. Damn peace, damn friends. You up out of here. Now, that is what a competent electorate does. It rewards its allies and it comes back and punishes anyone who tries to go against the grain. You think you gonna get in there and you gonna wildcat and do what you gonna do. Just like we were on your ass to get you in, we're gonna be on your ass to take you the hell out. And it really is that simple. It really is that simple. Some of the slow bus kids are like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's really that simple. A competent electorate makes sure, hey, dude, we're watching you every week. Just like we showed up to put you in, guess what? We're going to show up to move you out. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let me see if we can get Miss Nisi here. Let me see if we can get Nisi up here. There you go, Nisi. All right, what's on your mind? Unmute yourself. Lower left-hand corner microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now, Mr. Black?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. After listening to the previous caller, you know I'm ex-military. When you're in the military, when you take that oath, you belong to the U.S. government. You're not your own. You belong to them. They tell you to do it, you do it. Or you would get an Article 15. Simple as that.
But it's a debate, Nisi. It depends on if I want to do that. I mean, she's just asking. I mean, it's not an order. I mean, it's a request.
When I was in, it wasn't no fucking request. You did it. They gave the order, you do it.
Okay, because Bernadette was telling us that it might be up for debate, and it depends on if you feel like doing it. Not always, Niecy, not always. You didn't always have to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what happens when you try that. Not always. Just make that argument at your court martial. I don't have to always do it. Hey, this is my friend Bernadette. She told me we don't have to always do it.
Well, we say what we gonna do, but you giving that order, I'm like this. I ain't fucking up no way my money, period. I might bitch under my breath, but I'm gonna do it.
And there's avenues if something is happening that shouldn't be happening. Those tend to be rare for the most part, but there's avenues otherwise. But you saying I'm not gonna do that, if you do say that, you're gonna have to say that to a superior officer over them. You're not gonna tell them I'm not doing that. You tell a superior officer, hey, this is my reason for not doing it. You don't just get to make your own audible. And I've thought about that. I've decided I should do something else. I don't think I should be stocking the warehouse here. I think you really kind of punishing me. So I'm not stocking the warehouse here. I'm going down to the artillery range to see if I can get some rounds in, but I'm not doing this warehouse stocking because I feel like you kind of singling me out. So, okay. You can dispute this after you stock the warehouse. You can dispute it after that. After you finish stocking this warehouse, you can go dispute it as much as you damn well please. You can send all the emails. Because here's the thing. Like, for example, let's just say in that scenario, something like that happened. Okay, they want you to stock the warehouse. It's the weekend. You're supposed to be off. Okay, you're going to be here for 2 more hours stocking the warehouse. But I'm supposed to be off. We need this thing done over here. Well, why don't you go ask the motherfucker? You don't never make them stay late. Well, I want you staying late. So you need to do this. Well, I don't like that. So I'm going to leave right now, and I'm going to go send a letter to the lieutenant right now. I'm not doing the warehouse, so this is me walking off. See, hi, this is me walking off to go send an email to the lieutenant because I'm not doing this. Baby, you know that's not the way that happens. I mean, you can send the lieutenant your letter after you stock this warehouse. So, Lieutenant, the sergeant made me stock the warehouse, and this is the 3rd weekend in a row, and he don't single out anybody else. The lieutenant's gonna be, did you stock the warehouse? Well, no, I came to write you. Okay. I want to see how the hell that there. I didn't stock the warehouse on account of the fact he be singling me out. I ain't doing that. Okay. All right. Listen to Bernadette, y'all, and try that. Yo, just tell them, and Lieutenant Bernadette told me I can just come straight to you. I ain't got to stock it. Okay, well, tell Bernadette she can represent you at this court martial, and hopefully she'll get here the base in time.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Black.
Thank you for giving us a call. Like I said, yeah, y'all can listen to Goofy Chicks if y'all want to. All I can say is everybody who's been in the military knows damn well that she must be dealing with Agent Orange. What? Yeah, you don't get to sit up here and tell them what you ain't gonna do. I know that. I'm a damn civilian, and I know that. The man told you stock the warehouse. Okay, you gotta stay overtime to stock the warehouse. You putting on me and you oppress me. I get that. Finish this warehouse. Okay, you got an issue with him. We'll take it up right after we done with the warehouse. We'll do it then. I'm leaving. I'm gonna take care of this right now. Okay. Bernadette told me I can leave. All right. Folks, don't be silly enough to think you're going to trust politicians. I have never instructed you that. That's silly as hell. You don't trust politicians. You instruct them what's supposed to be done. You monitor their ass every single day. You let them know, nigga, I'm watching. See, there's a reason why a competent electorate that politicians can have scandals, because you take their character and stuff into account as well. It's like, okay, nigga, if nothing else, if he's cheating on his wife, that needs to make the news. You know why? Just to remind him that we're watching. Folks, if he's cheating on his wife, if he's off gambling in Vegas, if he's sitting up here at the crack house, the reason we let them know that these are scandals is, if for no other reason, maybe we won't vote you out of office, but that's a reminder, nigga, we watching you. We are watching you when you creeping on your wife, when you snuck off to Vegas, when you was hitting that joint. We are watching you. Now, we might hold it against you. Then again, we might not. I don't know, depending on how it's going to go. if you do what you're supposed to do, you might get the Marion Barry treatment. Marion Barry could skip out on his wife. Marion Barry could go hit the whole crack pipe and get reelected because he handled the business. Now, the folk need to let them know that they watching. Hey, Barry, you in the hotel doing too much. Hey, bro, you on 60 Minutes and everything else. You at the hotel doing too much. The B set me up. I get that, brother, but you're doing too much. Ease back. Smoke at home. Don't smoke at the motel. Smoke at home, bruh. If you're going to do it, smoke at the house. I know the old battle axe is rough, but smoke at the house, bruh. Don't smoke at the Motel 6. Them people watching you. All right, I'll be back to vote for you here in a couple months, Barry. Just keep that mess at home, bro. I'll be back to vote this November. I got you this November, Barry. I got you. Just take it on home now. See, that's what that's supposed to be. You know we watching. Yeah, bro, you doing too much, but we watching you. No, we ain't gonna hold against you. All right, Adrian Fenty come through the door. Yeah, nigga, you got a damn parking ticket. You out. Yeah, you gone. But Barry was smoking crack. Yeah, you ain't Barry. You gone. You out. We done with you. Well, why? We was watching. We was watching you too. That's politics, people. That's proper politics. That is a competent electorate handling its business. That's what the hell you supposed to do. You don't trust any damn body. You watch all of them. You control all of them. They step wrong, you step them out. That's what you're supposed to do. Talking about we don't trust him. I don't trust none of these damn people. Newsflash, Bernadette and every damn. I don't trust none of these people. I've never taught you all to trust any of them. There's not a single person in politics that I trust. It ain't about trust. I don't trust them. They were saying one thing last year. What now? They saying something totally different this year. Oh, you mean he got some act right? Oh, you mean he got some act right? Let me explain, y'all. Democrat and Republican, these are labels created by white society for white society. Liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian. These people put these terms on and take them off like a jacket. I've been teaching y'all this now going on 20 years. So clearly some folk ain't been listening to bedrock fundamentals I've been teaching for going on 2 decades now. These are labels these people put on and take off like a jacket. One year they're against abortion, the next year they're for it. One year they're against war, next year they're for it. One year they're against low taxes, the next year they're for it. That's the way it's always been, and you talking about trusting somebody. What kind of silly-ass, immature crap is that? That is basic politics 101. That's not new. That's not restricted to Luther Campbell or any damn body else. One year they're against gay marriage, the next year they're for it. One year they're against the wall, the next year they're for it. This is new to you? This is news? You just now finding this out in May of 2026? You weren't aware that this is the way it always is? Let me explain something to y'all. 1988, George H.W. Bush took over from Ronald Reagan, and he said, read my lips, no new taxes. What did George H.W. Bush do? He turned around and raised taxes. Do you know what the result of that was? 8 years of Bill Clinton. Did you ever have another Republican president who got his ass up there and tried to raise taxes again? Lie. After they saw what their electorate did to George H.W. Bush, y'all ain't had nothing but Republicans try to hammer taxes through the damn floor. They said, I ain't going out like him. Message received. You can do many things to the Republican electorate. You cannot raise their taxes. Not them and get their vote. Every damn body else who done tried it, they got the damn message. Oh, no. And George H.W., he thought he could do that too. Yeah, we don't get damn deficits, surplus, whatever. No, we can't raise no taxes. Can't do that. We can lower them. Can't raise them. Nope, can't do nothing. Okay. Folks, that is a competent electorate. And the message was received so damn well that Bill Clinton got in office talking about, I can lower taxes too. That's the way that works. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let me see if I can get Dan up here on Zoom for me here. Wait for Dan to get up here on Zoom for me. Yeah, y'all, don't trust these people. Talking about trust. I've never taught you to trust anybody. All right, Dan, what's on your mind?
You can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Dan. What's on?
Okay, cool, perfect. I'm calling in to let you to chime in and so far as what Uncle Luke's talking about, I believe he received the message just like every other politician received the message. But what was that caller talking about that she won't that she don't follow command or whatever she just said? Hell, tell her to go to prison then. And what commands that you ain't gonna follow in there? They ain't gonna ask you to do anything in prison. They gonna tell you what it's gonna be. And if you don't do it, then you know.
I mean, look, folk can afford to talk silly when there not gonna be consequences for talking silly. You don't live in a world that trusts you, man. Now, there are people who trust you maybe because they got to. Your woman might trust you, but then again, that's rare today. What? You know, your man might trust you, especially if he's a simp. But as far as everything else, brother, you don't supposed to trust your mechanic. I mean, you hand the car to him. He does. There's a certain amount of control that's under him because, you know, a certain amount of you're kind of at his mercy because he's got your car. Understood. But he needs to understand that if things don't get done right, there'll be consequences. Now, if you trust somebody, you don't talk to them like that, brother. You don't talk to your wife about, okay, dinner better get done. There's going to be consequences. Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Your wife, the yard better get cut or there's gonna be consequences. Wait, dude, what kind of marriage is this? So when you trust somebody, you don't talk like that. You tell your mechanic, hey, bro, you done had my car for 3 months. Is it fixed? Well, you know, it's just, okay, I'm coming down there, and if it's not right, we're gonna have a talk. You wouldn't even say that to your husband and your wife. You would say, hey, if dinner ain't done, we're gonna have a talk when I get there. So, no. It's going to be done. It might not be done, but you trusting them to do it. And if they do it, great. And if they don't, you just going to Burger King tonight, I guess. That's not trust, brother.
Yeah, that's fast because you don't trust your boss. You expect your boss to pay you on time.
Thank you.
You don't trust the people you damn sure don't. The landlord don't trust their tenant because that bill gonna get paid. That rent better be paid on time a month, or if not, it's eviction time.
Brother, we would not have a labor board if you trusted your employer. If he don't pay you this week, don't worry, brother. I got you next week here. Now, you just keep working for the next 6 days now. But trust me, I got you next week. Just trust me, brother. I got you next week. It doesn't work that. If you trusted him, why do we have a labor board? Why do we have a labor commission? Why do you have the ability to penalize them for your wages if you trust them? So he don't trust you, and you certainly don't trust him, especially if he ain't paid you. Well, I'll pay you next week. Oh, wait a minute. I might be back to work next week.
I got one more thing because I know you got a bunch of callers. The more it's like the older I get, the more I understand politics. It's kind of like it's your everyday life. It's kind of like what you do with your relationships, like when you hire, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, you hire a mechanic, how you deal with your landlord, how you conduct business. You know what I'm saying? It's not about trust, it's about getting things done. So it's the same thing with politicians, because I ask the average person every day, how you vote for somebody, then somebody never said what they're gonna do for you. Would you be in a relationship or marriage with somebody, you know what I'm saying, without no expectation?
That's trust, Dan.
Oh,
well, yeah, what you just described right there, what we've been complaining about and suffering under now, that is trust. I'm just trusting that he's going to do the right thing after I vote for him. Have y'all talked about it? No. Have you got an understanding? Not really. I mean, he knows I got some needs. He saw that. And so he said that he feel my pain and he real sympathetic. So we got an understanding. I mean, he saw it. So I'm trusting that he understands that I need some help. Well, brother, that's trust right there, what you just described.
But that ain't how that's supposed to go. You're supposed to discuss what you know. You're not like you say. You aren't supposed to trust politicians. You let the politician know, hey, this was going to be required for you done for Black folks, for foundational Black America. If you don't get it done, like you say, you're gonna get it done. How we request to get it done, your ass go out the door. So it's am I right about that or?
Well, here's my issue with what you just said, Dan. I'm not saying that you can't trust politicians. I'm saying you shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
So you can trust them? Well, yeah, you can. Tell me how the hell that's working out for us. So I would be all for, quote, trusting politicians if it worked. Well, it's been my experience that don't work. Trusting them doesn't work. I'm going to do what works. Trusting clearly ain't working. Let's try this control thing. Let's see how that does for us. So, brother, my whole thing is, my problem with trusting isn't that it's not physically possible to do it. It's totally possible to do it. My problem is it ain't been working. We're not getting the results we want from trust. So, damn trust. If the world ever changes and trust starts working, well, let's have a conversation about trust at that time. But where we at here today, I can't rely on trust. I need something I can rely on. Let's go for control. Let's do that one. Because trust is not giving me what I need. That's where I'm at. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Look, trust might work with your wife. Trust might work with your husband. Trust might work with your brothers and your sisters, your mom and your daddy. There are places in this world where trust works and trust can work. It has been our experience that trust in politics doesn't work. It's been our experience that trusting politicians doesn't turn out well for us. So I'm going to give you some instructions for something that's going to turn out better than trusting does. Is it a guarantee? Ain't nothing in this world guaranteed but dying. But as far as how you conduct politics, I'm going to instruct you to conduct politics in a manner that will work for you. And control works a hell of a lot more than trust does. So from here on in, we ain't trusting nobody. We could trust you, but you all have shown us that it's not wise to trust you. So let's use something that works. And if you ever prove to us that you can be trustworthy at some point in the far-flung future, we'll come back and review that trust concept. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can talk to Jor-El here on Zoom. Jor-El, what's on your mind?
What's up, man? Can you hear me? I'm loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, actually, right before you brought me on, you answered one of my questions, which was, is there a way that we can guarantee our, tangibles before the vote? Because what Dan was saying, about it being like everyday life, even certain things like Amazon, they'll give you a month free trial subscription. So I just feel like after their track record of being proven to not be trustworthy and not operating in good faith, is there any way that we could see that they, make a step in the right direction first before we even say we voting for anybody?
Right. Here's the thing. People can't represent you until they get in there. What you do is you get folk who have already committed to representing your interests. What Roland Martin is telling us, vote for the Democrats and just trust that they'll eventually represent our interests. Nah, forget that. If he is not going to commit to my interests beforehand, he won't get my vote. Well, Jason, how do we guarantee their actions after the fact? I need people to understand something here. I'm going to do this a little long form, though I will not tax you too much. That's not the way politics work, nor is that the way that it should work. As I said at the beginning, imagine if revolutionary changes happened every couple of years. Society would be unlivable. So certainly you do have a number of things you don't like, but imagine if you could just change things at the drop of a dime. If government policy changed in 30 days, imagine what society would become. So the founders and republics and whatnot, it's engineered for things to happen slowly for a reason. It can be annoying. It can be frustrating. It can sometimes be difficult. Yeah, but it happens slowly for a reason, because radical changes would just be constant chaos all the time. Whether you think about tax policy, police, education, media. So you vote for them now, and in a few months, we'll see what they get in the office, and then we see what goes from there. The other thing is you might not have a majority of people. That's understandable. I am not saying that I expect everything to change tomorrow. What I am saying is if you want my vote, this is what you have to do to get that. If you get into office, I expect you to stand by that, sink or swim, because that's the condition of the vote. You're not here to test the winds after you get in office. We already did our part. It's your time to do yours. Now, let's just say under a perfect scenario, you vote for them, you get them in office, they do your bidding. Brother, do you realize that's only half the battle? Getting to the top is only half the battle. Now you got to maintain at the top. Make sure that folks don't come in and try to undo what you did, which is the way of politics. This is what we're in right now. You're in a system of white supremacy, and what have we been doing for the last 180 years? Undoing it. They voted for it, brother. They put it in the Constitution.
True.
They made it the law of the land. It's no longer the law of the land. We have been undoing it now for going on 2 centuries. So even with the founders, they put that in place. And what happened? We immediately went to work undoing it. So they got to the top. Our job was to make sure they couldn't maintain it. That is now going to be your responsibility. Even under the best of circumstances. Even if you immediately got everything you wanted, brother, you still gonna have to stay on their ass from here on in to make sure you keep it. Because once you get it, it's gonna be folks like, oh, well, you're the majority now. You're the establishment now. You're the status quo now. So we need to make some revolutionary changes to undo what you did.
Right.
No, you see what I mean? This is politics right there. So once you get in the driver's seat, brother, there's going to be somebody else tap you on the shoulder like, hey, can I drive for a minute?
Yeah, that answers my second question, which was, do you think the strategy for the next few election cycles will be just doing political church, which is, all right, we know this is what they want to hear. Let's say this now. And, like basically not give them anything, but say the right things to get in office and then pull a rug.
Well, this is why you have elections for representatives every 2 years and senators every 6 years and presidents every 4 years. I mean, we don't just vote once and then go home and be like, well, he got it. No, we are going to be here. Look, the purpose of my program is every week we come back here and politic. Every week. I don't do this every election year. I do this every single weekend. Right. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be 10 times as consistent and vigilant as the politicians. We don't vote for them and then we go home. We vote for them and then we back Monday. Hey, I'm checking to make sure you're getting that business done for me. I'm checking to make sure you're getting that done on the kind of the fact, yeah, we know sometimes y'all bull job. I ain't going nowhere. So people don't trust them. I'm just saying, once you get him in office, you don't trust him. Don Vito Corleone. It's like, okay, I like this dude. I respect this dude. I don't trust him. I'll be back here Monday to watch you. When I get finished voting for you, ain't going to be no easing up. We will be monitoring you and we will be discussing your performance or lack thereof every weekend after that. Well, y'all can ease up on me. Give me some time here. I'm giving you some time. You got 5 more days and we'll be back to talk about your performance again. No, we met every week to get you in office. We'll be meeting every week to discuss what you're doing. And if we don't like what we see, we'll be discussing every week to replace you, like the Iron Bank from Game of Thrones. If you do what we told you to do, it'll be good. If you don't, we'll be working to get somebody else in your seat, just like we worked to get you in it. And that is politics.
That's a fact.
It's a process. It ain't one election, brother. You'll be doing this for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I had a job at Pret a Manger, is this French restaurant, and the dudes would literally stand right over your shoulder.
Yep.
Watch you as you slice the little turkey wraps and everything. So we got to be like that. I feel you.
Yes, sir. And by the way, name your highest quality restaurants, name your highest quality businesses. Let's call it what it is. The most supervision.
Yep.
The employees love working at home, but they ain't getting the results they want letting them be at home. You get them back in the office, the man walking the aisles. It's like, okay, you're on your P's and Q's again. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Folks, this is not a temporary thing. It's not a one cycle thing. It's not a Jason, can we elect one politician? Man, folks, we got to grow up about that. This is a system. It also means that you must maintain that system. Maintenance means that we show up just to make sure that everything is bright and shiny. Ain't no oil leaks. Ain't no water leaks. So showing up for maintenance doesn't mean you show up when something breaks. Proper maintenance is like going to the dentist. When the dentist does the x-rays, like, hey, everything looks good. No gingivitis, no tartar, no abscesses, no fillings, no cavities. Clean bill of health. Would you say, damn, that was a waste of money. I could have went and bought me some liquor. Oh, why the hell I got to come to the damn dentist? Everything all right. Okay, you don't understand maintenance. You go to the dentist to get a clean bill of health. You want them green check marks. Like, hey, I went to the dentist. Ain't no cavities, ain't no plaque. Now you can go about your business with your teeth how you want to. Now that you've handled your business. You don't go, well, damn, my teeth hurting. I guess I better go to the dentist. The dentist's like, damn, nigga, I ain't seen you in 10 years. Well, yeah, I wasn't having no problems. I could have saved them 3 front teeth if you had come to see me. Well, my teeth wasn't bothering me. Yes, that's why you come see me, so that your teeth will not be bothering you and will continue to not bother you. But if you disappear and leave it up to the everything else, well, now your teeth gone. So people, you don't just sit up here and show up for, quote, maintenance when something breaks. You show maintenance is making sure everything is in working order. Everything nice, fly, shiny, spick and span. Everything looks good. Okay, well, you come back next year? No, I'm coming back next week. I'll be back next week. I mean, but ain't nothing gonna break, and I'm gonna make sure it doesn't. So I'll be back to inspect everything again to make sure it's still in good condition. That's maintenance. And that's political maintenance. You vote for somebody, okay, I'll be back next week to make sure you on the job. Hey, you over there talking to damn mean Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace. Oh, wait a minute now. Hey, I saw some pictures online. You look a little bit buddy with Nancy Mace over there. I know Michael Eric Dyson was trying to boo up, but hey, bruh, what's going on? Oh, yeah, my constituency. There's some folks in my constituency criticizing me meeting Nancy Mace. You damn right, we're watching you. That's right, we're watching you. We didn't go away after the election. We're watching you right now. Y'all taking it out of context. Buddy, you better get back on our good side. We letting you know we watching you and we didn't like what we saw. That is a competent, vigilant electorate. Niggas want to sit up here and vote and then go back to smoking and drinking or whatever the hell Bernadette does on the weekends. What? Okay, I'm going to ease up on Bernadette here in a moment. But no, you have to stay on them. And furthermore, you're supposed to stay on them because we don't know what changes might need to be made, people. We don't know what changes might need to be made. There might be a better deal that we can swing. There might be something else that needs to be altered and changed. So we got to stay on the job the full time. We never know when there might be a necessary change to make some nuance or something. So no, you don't get to vote for folk and then you go home and bull jive and watch Price is Right. You don't get to do that. This is how we wound up losing the civil rights movement there. As soon as they voted one time, niggas wanted to go home. Damn that. All right, let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. Okay, why are we renaming ourselves, ma'am? Why are we doing that?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to rename myself. This is Angelica Lena calling from Nashville, Tennessee.
I know it's you, Angelica. What's on your mind?
I just want to make a comment about what Bernadette said real quick. She was saying, I give orders. I shouldn't say this. She said, I give orders. This is the thing. Like you said, even if you're a 4-star general, which I don't know if that's the highest. I don't remember if that's the highest. If it's a 5-star general, they still have to take orders from the commander in chief. So you have to follow orders. Regardless, and I think she just wanted to be argumentative for the sake of being argumentative.
I mean, she might be able to give orders to some buck privates, but the bottom line is if she gives an order, that's not a request. That's not a suggestion. That's an order. She's not trusting you to decide if it's a good order or not. That they don't call them orders because it's trust. If it were trust, that's called a request. An order has nothing to do with trust. Imagine you go to a restaurant, what they call it, a food order. Okay, well, I'd like to have a hamburger. I'm trusting y'all gonna bring me a hamburger. I didn't write hamburger though. I'm trusting you gonna do that. And even if you said that, okay, and they come back with some damn shrimp. Well, trust us. You want shrimp? No, I said what I wanted. That was an order. That was not a request. Well, pay us for the shrimp anyway. Hold on. No. So yeah, some folks here need just arguing to be arguing.
Absolutely. She knows better than there's something called a chain of command. And she knows better than that. And she knows she was never at the top of it. But I will say this about Luther Campbell. This is the thing for me from him. I mean, I can't really speak on it. You know, it's for the people in Florida in that district there to make the decision. But he said some pretty disparaging things.
No.
Okay.
No, people. No, not at all. I need you to understand something. Every politician who runs for office and whatnot is an opportunity to signal nationally where our heads are at and what resonates with us. When Chud the Builder does something, is that a local issue in Nashville, ma'am? Okay. Okay. I need you all to understand how politics works. So this is an opportunity to signal to people that, by the way, this resonates outside of Florida. So if you leave that alone to Florida and just relegate that to Florida, you can do that. But I'm just letting you know you're missing an opportunity to send a message. Every election, all these things should be a message. And that message should keep ringing and resonating, because here's the thing. The politicians, here's what you all worry about, that the politicians will take advantage of any opportunity when we're not looking to go back to the bull jive. And that's exactly why we have to remain vigilant, because that's what they do. Have you all asked yourselves why it is that most of your, quote, politicians in Congress today are lawyers? Have you all asked yourselves that? Yeah, Congress is predominantly dominated by lawyers. Have you all ever asked yourself why that is? Why is it that Congress is not full of pastors, daycare workers, teachers, folks that we don't really have a whole lot of issues with, as far as taking care of business and being, quote, trustworthy and things? Have you asked yourself why is it that there are not a bunch of teachers and daycare workers and folk like that in Congress? Have you asked that? You know why? Because people like that don't run for Congress. People like that don't run for the Senate. People like that don't run for president. Now, that's just a reality. That's a reality. Your most quiet, demure people who are not lustful for power or influence or whatever, those folk do not run in politics. Matter of fact, most of them despise it. You might be one of those people. Okay, then please understand what that will leave left over. Now, that's a reality also. So the simple fact of the matter is there's a certain type of person who joins politics. There's a certain type of person who runs for politics. And we have to be cognizant of that and mature about that. That's what happens. So those are the pieces you have to work with. My suggestion is that you choose the ones that you can control the most. Since you don't have the option of the ones you can trust the most, I recommend you select the ones you can control the most.
Well, absolutely. So to say that, that being said, Luther Campbell says some pretty disparaging things about the lineage consistently. And he was a pretty degenerate and just foul-mouthed, disgusting surrogate for Kamala Harris. And he was in spaces all over, just making it clear what he thought about us and our needs. And so, I saw the tweet, I'd seen it before, and I think he got on something, I don't remember what it was, TikTok or something, talking about some things. And, you do that for consistent. And then the thing with him, well, if the police kill y'all, he wasn't going to protest for us, no way. But if the police kill y'all after Donald Trump got elected, he was so furious at us. Well, if y'all get lynched and y'all get killed by the police, I'm not going to protect. He's just said some really disgusting things and really just disrespectful things. And then he comes back and says this one thing. And I'm like, and I don't have to like you. Like you said, I don't have to like you. I really don't. I don't have to feel like I need to go and have somebody I can go have lunch with. But yeah, you're not going to sit there and disrespect me like that.
Okay.
And then sit up and then you come
Angelica,
up with this tweet.
Let me go ahead and address what you just said there. But I want to make this caveat before I do. Whether or not a person is consistent is very, very key. That means everything. So listen to the answer, then the response you're about to give me, which will directly address everything you just said. And then ask yourself now, is Jason being completely consistent with everything he's ever said before? Is this new? Is he massaging it? Or is this totally consistent with everything he said before? All right, let me go ahead and back over what you started there before. Luther Campbell has said a bunch of disparaging things about us. I'm not interested in friends, buddies, or pals. It's great and wonderful if you can get it. You might have seen a couple of women in Congress who might be worth taking on a date or something like that, but that's not my requirement. In the words of Dr. Claude Anderson, I can get my loving somewhere else. I need you to take care of my other business. So that's what I think about people saying disparaging things. But let me go ahead and go a little bit further. First of all, you're subscribing friendship metrics to things. Second of all, you're taking it personally. Third of all, you're going to have to show me if they mean that. But also, fourth of all, if I had to only vote for people who said kind things about me, how many people would I have to vote for? If I only voted for people who said kind, wonderful things. Now let me turn it around. How many of the people who have said the kind and wonderful things were our worst adversaries, by the way? The ones who had the nicest, most flowery things to say. Hello, Obama. You were very complimentary, very kind, very poetic. So was your wife, and you were the biggest traitor we ever experienced. So I would rather have honest adversaries than false friends. One I can respect and work with. The other one, I can't do anything with them. Now, let's go to the next step there about, well, these things are very vitriolic, very unkind, this, that, and the other. You know what? You're absolutely right. They say very bad things about the lineage. You know what? You got a point there, too. But then again, if I were to subscribe that metric as well, when folks say, well, Jason, this guy over here is a white supremacist, which one of them ain't? Which one of them isn't? If our standard is going to be, we will not elect anyone unless we can confirm and verify that they are not, even if they say they support reparations for us, if they're white supremacists, you've offended my sensibilities, we can't support them. It's like, okay, well, which one of them isn't? Tell me, who on the menu you gonna vote for ain't a white supremacist? Where is he? Or control thereof? So who is this imaginary candidate you thinking about? So if we have to choose someone who ain't a white supremacist or white supremacist is Jason, we're just never going to vote for anything. Okay. Well, Jason, I'm not sure. He said some mean things here, and he's talked about what he's not going to do, and he's been on a screed about that, and he's going to campaign about that. Very, very good thing, which is why that is going to be incumbent on him, that he's going to have to convince us. Which means that, hey, Luke, I spent the last almost hour and a half right now prepping this. But by the way, I'm so glad you've had this to say, brother, which means that you gonna have to come, sit back, smile, and dial. And all of us that you've been saying this about, you gonna have to have some regular engagement so that you can convince us about where your head is really at here. And that's not going to be a one day, one night thing on account of the fact that you did not do that on one day or one night. So, yeah, we see what you're saying, but now you're going to have to convince us. So you are going to have to speak to the new black media and the audience thereof. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to convince us that we should not remain very, very pessimistic, forget cynical, very pessimistic about you. That's where you at right now. On account of the fact that, by the way, we couldn't help but notice you have a very long established track record of saying exactly the opposite of this. So now we need to have a different discussion. And it will be up to you, not up to us. It will be up to you to convince us that this turn of face here is legitimate and that this is something that we can, dare I say, trust in. So it's going to be up to you to convince us. It's not up to us to say, well, he said this, let's go for it. Not going to be that easy. Not going to be that simple. You want our vote? This is what's going to be required to get that. Set up Shannon Sharp. I mean, no, he's going to have to come talk to us. We are the people who started this about reparations. You talking about foundational? Okay, that's us. So if you are talking about you want to appeal to us, but then simultaneously you refuse to speak to us, I can't take you seriously. I will say that. I said that about Jasmine Crockett. I said that about all the rest of them. Y'all heard, remember I said that. It's not going to be enough for you to give lip service. You all act like we don't exist. So you talk about you like reparations, Ayanna Presley. Okay, y'all like reparations, but then you don't come and talk to the reparationists. You want to talk to Coleman Cruz and all these clowns out there in Cobra and all these fake organizations. You're not trying to talk to the grassroots. I don't see how I'm going to tell the grassroots to vote for you, and you are actively avoiding and evading the grassroots. So if you want to convince me to believe in that, you need to come talk to the grassroots. Absent that, brother, I can't take you seriously. So if you're going to say this, I'm going to be looking for some follow-up. I'm going to be looking for some follow-up. You are not going to just be able to parachute in a tweet and then everything's good. No. We're going to have a follow-up here, and we're going to have a discussion about some of the stuff we done heard and some of the stuff we done seen. And you will have your opportunity to address our concerns. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Or you also have the option of not doing it. That's an option too. You can just sit there and hope for the best, and you can do that one too. But these are the steps. So no, we're not trusting anything. You said something here that might give you an opportunity to get a chance to make your case, which is what I said at the beginning. Well, what's making my case? You're going to have to sit up here and call us up. He doesn't have to kiss the ring, but he is going to have to call and dial, and we are going to have a couple of hours to talk to you. And by the way, after that first couple of hours, we'll see you in a month or two, and we're going to have another couple of hours so that we can all make sure that we're all clear on where we stand here as we go into the home stretch. We're going to have a regular getting together here to make sure, for you told us we're on the same page, we're going to make sure we stand on it. Make sure you haven't had yet another change of heart, since this seemed to come out of us very unexpectedly and unannounced. We just want to make sure there's not going to be any future unexpected and unannounced changes. On top of that, there, we can have us a conversation. But yeah, you're going to have to get in touch and stay in touch on account of the fact you've given us plenty of reason to be doubtful. And you're going to have to massage and assuage our doubts, and you shouldn't have a problem with that because you got experience at it. Let me think about all the women back in the 90s. What? I mean, he didn't have any problem going to the strip club, reassuring the chicks up in there. That, okay, well, you're going to have to give us that treatment. Pause. But in any case, yeah, you're going to have to reassure us on a regular basis that we ain't got nothing to worry about. So just the Keith Sweat begging thing, I'm not saying you have to beg, but that's not a bad idea. Not a bad start. So yeah, baby, that's where we at with it. So that is my response to everything that you just said right there. So I'm not going to ask you anything about that. I'll just say, ask yourself whether everything I just said is completely consistent with everything you've heard from me going on the last 2 decades about how I've approached this and how I always approach this. You can answer for yourself if that is consistent with what you've heard from me before now. You can just answer that for yourself. You ain't got to say anything. But I'm just dwell on that for a moment and see if it lines up with everything you've heard me say for decades. And it's not going to change. This is how you treat everybody. This is how you treat everyone. If Barack Obama wanted to run again, we can have this conversation. If Kamala Harris wants to run for president again, we can have that conversation. I can't take her seriously right now because she's not touching the grassroots. She's not speaking. She's not saying nothing. She needs to come here where if you have a cynical part of the electorate, the first thing you're supposed to do is target them. Those are the people most opposed to you, but that also means they are the reason you lost. So are you going to focus on the folk who already voted for you and see if you can try to maximize your gains? Or are you going to start chipping away at that negative portion that's voted against you and get them to vote for you, which now counts as a vote against your opponent? And she's not putting in any time or any reps to do that. So she's off on a damn book tour, but what she's not doing is coming back to the black men who didn't vote for her and explaining to us and having regular conversations to get us on board. Baby, you were there for the last 5 years. Donald Trump did not stop running for president. Everybody was sitting up here whining and moaning and complaining. Donald Trump went from January 6, 2021 to January 2025. He did not, he was running for president the whole damn 4 years that Joe Biden was in office. Now, that's what you do when you are serious about reassuring the people who voted against you that they should reconsider. That's what you do. You don't waste time. He didn't go on a book tour. He got together with Charlie Kirk and a bunch of them other folk, and they were Charlie Kirk was campaigning for Donald Trump for 4 damn years. Jack Posobiec, Megyn Kelly, all the damn rest of them. 4 straight years, ma'am. 4 straight years. And it's paid dividends. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is acting like we don't exist. That's my problem right there. Donald Trump gets it, and she don't. And Luther, we ain't heard from you yet. So just letting you know, when you have a lot of lost ground to make up, we can take you seriously when we see you putting the reps in. You should be spending every day. He should be calling us every weekend, to be totally honest. That should be an every weekend call right there. If you want to be taken seriously, or don't, or don't just go to the Cuban rally there in Miami, and go ahead and do that and see if you can peel off some voters from Debbie Wasserman. I mean, just try that, Luke, and that might. Who knows? That might work too. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, thank you so much for taking my call. Black first.
Black first, sister. Yeah, like I say, I'm very pragmatic about it. It's not about friendship, this, that, and the other. We're not being unreasonable. We're not having unreasonable expectations. There's nothing like that right there. It's like, okay, it's very legitimate. You want to throw your hat in the ring? You want to make your case for yourself? Fine, you make your case for yourself. I'm going to give you some political advocacy advice. You got some strong headwinds against you. You better specifically deal with those. Some of those headwinds that have been against you, you need to specifically address those. I don't think it's a good idea to try to ignore those. You need to specifically address these headwinds, any of these unforced errors, any of these self-inflicted wounds. You need to address those. And you can address them if you are actually interested in addressing them. They can be addressed, or don't. That's an option for you too. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's fine. But I think I've heard it on good authority. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has filed, and she's going to be in the race. Exactly the nightmare scenario that you all were afraid of before. Debbie Wasserman wants to weigh in. Now, I want to go a little bit further here, folks, because once again, for our cause of what we're doing, people count things, folks. They count things. They count votes. They count turnout. They count what percentage of the electorate supported a candidate on his platform. If Luther Campbell is running on reparations and he gets 30% of the vote, that sends a very clear signal to people. That right there is the kind of thing that sends a very clear signal to people about what's viable. So I want you all to understand, I'm giving it the 720 degrees of analysis. In the chat room, Oralox needs to give me a call up on Zoom. You got 2 minutes. Oralox needs to give me a call up on Zoom. You have 2 minutes. I'm very glad that you said that. You have 2 minutes to be on Zoom. So go ahead and get Oralox to go ahead and give us a call up here. While we're waiting on that, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Nancy King. She says you will only receive the 720 degrees of analysis here and nowhere else. Let's go, TBA. Luther definitely got our attention. Cut the check, B1. Shout out here to Willis Addison. Thank you very much for your support tonight here, brother. We appreciate that as well. To my man Logic Before Emotion, my man Mr. Richburg. Got a lot of folk here. Ronald, appreciate that here for everybody here on the Super Chat. Tom Slick, everybody else here, thank you very much for your support tonight here. Immigrant B1, Supreme Ultimate, Barbara. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break, folks. When we come back here, we're going to see if we can talk to Oralox, and I'm going to follow up on some of these other notes here and more. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. The kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the gains. Mr. B the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this weekend. And we are discussing about who we vote for and why and under what circumstances. And some folks have had some questions here tonight about who folk are and what they say about you and the comments that they make about you. And I felt all of that was very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, I felt it was so interesting here that even earlier this week, I posted something. If you're following me on Twitter, you saw it already. And if you're not following me on Twitter, you need to be. So this is a compilation of comments from Megyn Kelly over the last decade about Donald Trump. Not the last 2 or 3 weeks, over the last decade about Donald Trump. So if you want to talk about folks making unkind comments in politics and if you support people, well, here's an example.
But I am fascinated by the protection of women and understanding what we're getting in the Oval Office. Another woman who has alleged groping, unwanted groping, by Donald Trump is with us back now with 3 of the 16 plus women who have accused President Trump of sexual misconduct. Trump is on record as saying he did this. And you are all familiar by this point with the Access Hollywood tape.
I don't think Donald Trump is a rapist or a sexual assaulter. I do think he's taken inappropriate liberties with women and gotten handsy with them in a way he's owned himself. And it is what it is. That's the past. I don't give a shit about Trump getting handsy with somebody 20 years ago.
Ivana, his first wife, accused him of raping her. That she alleged in her first book that he was so angry over the hair transplant he got that she made him get. It was so painful that he raped her. And she later retracted that when he ran for president. But that stood on the books for some time.
But I am fascinated by the protection of women and understanding what we're getting in the Oval Office.
Trump is on record as...
All right, I think you get the point. So, yeah, unkind comments, unkind statements over a extended period of time, and yet, who was she backing in 2024? Who was she 10 toes down for in 2024? So, understand, people, other folks don't practice politics with that friendship mindset and, oh, what they said yesterday. Everything is about what you gonna do today. These other folks are not talking about what you said a decade ago and this, that. They want to know, okay, what you doing for me now? What you gonna do right now? Okay, well, they said something last year. That's what you said last year, whether it was good or whether it was bad. That was last year. You can't ride forever on something good you did last year. That was last year. What you doing today? They did something bad last year. Okay, well, what are they offering now? And we'll kick the tires and vet it and see what's going on. So please understand, folks, I'm showing you a real life example. This is how everybody else practices things, and take a look at the results they get. Folks over here trying to find friends. And I'm like, damn that. She was all for Donald Trump as long as she could control him. As long as he was under control and giving benefits, everything was right. As soon as that changed, Megyn Kelly is like, here, hold this knife between your ribs, dude. Let me slide this shank between them ribs right quick. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let's see if we can get True FBA up here on Zoom for me. All right, True FBA, what's on your mind?
Jason, great broadcast as usual. I don't know if you covered this while I was on hold waiting to come on, but what? By the way, it's a good idea. It would be a good idea for Luther Campbell to actually step in and break bread with you, because otherwise it's just going to look like empty stuff here. Broward County. Because I used to live down there, there's a black population down there. It's split between baby boomer blacks, FBA, and tethers. What Wasserman Schultz is doing is really cynical and wildly disrespectful. What she's planning on or playing on is that she, one, hopes that the four other melanated candidates, basically, cannibalize each other, leaving her with just enough baby boomer votes, black baby boomer votes, and tether votes to get her into the final. And she's also, and of course, if she does go on to get there, her election is basically about her doing what she's always done, which is support Israel, support Israel, support Israel. But if the other four dark-skinned candidates can, come together and maybe get behind one of them to do the talking. I'm really disappointed by Luther Campbell being the one to say what he said, because the one FBA candidate, she's a daughter or a stepdaughter or something of Alcee Hastings. She should have been the one saying it, but whatever.
Yeah, but here's the issue, though. Lineage is a great and wonderful thing if people value it.
Correct.
So the real thing is, it's not a handout for them. You might be the color, but you ain't the kind. Your kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and vice versa. So it's great if they got the lineage roots, but that's not the way politics works. Because you can have somebody who's they find somebody from your lineage, they prop them up to undermine you. So we really can't be a respecter of persons where that's concerned. Our interests are paramount to everything. And whoever is going to be the best vehicle and carrier of that under whatever circumstances you're going into, because every circumstance is not cookie cutter. Demographics not going to be the same. The political structure is not going to be the same. So whoever the candidate is, whoever the vehicle is, whoever's carrying our interests, that's the direction we're going, regardless of where they come from.
Correct. And, and like you say, what needs to happen here is, as you say, Luther Campbell needs to come to the carpet and speak to us, probably, definitely through you at least. If this is any kind of way serious or not. Otherwise, this is
otherwise they can watch Debbie Wasserman Schultz get reelected. That's what they can do. That right there. Yep. You can do that. Yep. So hey, you can come talk to us and give yourself a shot, or y'all might as well go ahead and give Debbie Wasserman Schultz the keys to the congressman's office now and get it over with.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, y'all, it's really that simple. It really is that simple. Hey, if you want to have a shot at it, come and talk to us. We'll see what happens. I'm not guaranteeing you a win. I'm guaranteeing you'll get nothing if you don't. Or just let Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the Democrat Party is going to be backing her the hilt. Let her just go ahead and dance her ass back in the office again. We can do that too. You can do that too. That is totally an option. If you decide that we're not worth it and you don't think you got any bridges you need to rebuild, you know what? Okay, good luck with that. And you can go fight Debbie Wasserman Schultz and AIPAC and the Democrat DNC and all the rest of them standing behind you. You can go ahead and fight that. And go ahead and do that. No, I don't believe everybody is legitimate in that regard either, because these political parties will prop up candidates specifically for the purposes of splitting the vote. So do not think that all these candidates are legitimate. Some of them are being put in place for the purposes of splitting the vote deliberately. So that kind of thing happens as well, which means that you got to have a lot of damn help to overcome that. You have to have a lot of damn help to overcome that. You cannot afford to sit on your laurels. You're going to need a lot of help to overcome that. And you have to take that seriously. It can be very, very tempting to sit up here and say, well, don't worry, we'll throw this out there and there we go. So like I say, if they're serious, hey, I'm not here to determine, quote unquote, if they're serious. I'm not here for that either. I'm just letting you all know that this is how you respond in politics. We have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. If somebody is coming here and they are offering the best deal, then those are the folks we're going to entertain. I need you all to be very, very clear about that. That doesn't mean that somebody just comes up and talks and I'm just like, oh, well, they said the right thing. Let's vote for them. 5th time I'm saying this. I did not say that. So don't sit up here and have some ADHD clown tell you that I said that. That's not what I said. What I am saying is that I don't give a damn what's going on. LBJ was going against our damn interests until he wasn't. You have a whole bunch of them unreconstructed Confederates and whatnot. Had to get some act right. Our interests are eternal, and we cannot afford to have an ego about that. We cannot always control who the candidates are going to be. So sometimes you're going to have folk there that may offend your sensibilities. So be it. You have a obligation to your agenda, not to your ego. So I'll let y'all know, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, whichever one is going to most be supporting the agenda, that's who I'm going to be voting for. I'm voting straight on what that's going to be. Now, if I don't think I can trust you for that, well, that's going to be a different matter if I don't think I can trust you for that. If I don't think you're a good candidate for that, but we're going to have a conversation. If Donald Trump wanted my vote, I'm going to be like, okay, Donald, let me ask you a few questions about Nick Fuentes coming to the White House. What? All right, Donald, before we talk anything else, I need to talk about Nick Fuentes coming to the White House. You need to explain that. Then you need to explain to me all these white South Africans being brought over here. You need to explain that too. Then you need to explain Daniel Penny, why it is I should look at you standing next to Nick Fuentes and Daniel Penny and still vote for you. Well, I'm in favor of reparations. I hear that. Okay. Well, let's discuss that. Right after you explain about Daniel Penny and Nick Fuentes, right after you explain about that. That's the way you do that. It's like, because I'm not sure I can take you serious about this other stuff until I hear a satisfactory response about that right there. So in light of some of your previous behavior, I need to get an explanation for that because I find it hard to believe. So you're going to have to convince me that I can believe you. In light of the fact that the last time I saw you, you were sitting up here dancing the two-step with Nick Fuentes. You were dancing the Macarena next to Nick Fuentes and Daniel Penny. So you're going to have to convince me because I'm cynical. That's how that goes, people. But if Donald Trump were making the best offer, okay, he can get a microphone. We can talk. We can chop it up. We can see what's going on. I got some questions to ask. And he doesn't have to come here. He doesn't have to answer any of them. You won't get my support or my vote until you do. You will not get my support or my vote until you do. Let's go ahead and see if we can jump back over here on Zoom again here real quick. Okay, we got Brother Elijah here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Elijah?
Hey, good evening, big brother Jason. B1 to you and the family. Hey, I'm not gonna be long and everything like that, but I do have a question because you mentioned Debbie Washington Schwartz, and I know she because you was the one that was the first one that broke that story about District 20 down there in Florida. I just have this one question, and it's scared that you're gonna possibly confirm it. Although in that black district, are those ninjas down there that stupid that this woman is not offering them nothing, and they're gonna be stupid to let that woman take the place of their black representative?
Well, here's the issue. Remember, they've screwed up some of the districts and stuff like that. Ron DeSantis has been hard at work now for the last 8 years. So you got some changes that have happened. So that's really the dynamic that you're dealing with. Please understand, in that particular area, there's a lot of Jewish support there as well.
Yes,
so,
sir.
I mean, you don't just have the whole roost of the yard to yourself in that regard, which is the thing that they were doing. That's the whole reason why they did this like this, is to, minimize the Democrats and dilute the vote down. So in Trump's district, remember that Democrat female won in Trump's district there in Palm Beach, I think it was, or whatever.
Yes,
so
sir.
you had a Democrat female who won there. So that didn't go the way he would have liked there, but take a look at this over here. So you can't guarantee, you can play with the districts if you want to. You can't guarantee what's going to happen. The numbers kind of tell you, well, it should go this way, but you can never really guarantee that. But just letting you know, in that particular area there, yeah, they know what they're doing and how they split there. And she's got a lot of Jewish support in that area too. So
yes,
it would help if you had a consolidated black vote to begin with. That would certainly help. But this doesn't make it easier. It sure doesn't.
Yes, sir.
What you're seeing is the effect of being kind of off code all this damn time.
Yes, sir.
Because Debbie should have been too anxious and nervous to even try this.
Of course. Yes, sir. Hey, big brother, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna land my plane. These thanks to your broadcast over these last few weeks, staying on top of this stuff, man. Big brother, look, these are the best midterms I've ever seen in my life because Representative Al Bootlick Green got kicked the hell out. Thank God for that. I heard some more good news. Jimbo Jangles, Clyburn, all right, aka Uncle Ruckus, they're fixing his district the right way. Thank God for that. These are the best. This is the best midterms going on right now because look, if my whole thing is this, big brother. If it's not working for you, get rid of it. And we put these black faces at high places for over 50 years, and they have not done absolutely nothing. And I wouldn't care to see if I didn't see another black representative ever again because they're not working in our interest. Our representation is right here on the phone with us right now. You and the brothers and sisters on the grassroots.
Well, I will say this.
Yes, sir.
On the one hand, yeah, with Al Green and them, that's one thing with Jasmine Crockett. That's one thing.
Yes,
Here's
sir.
my problem. My problem is it doesn't do us any good for Al Green to get kicked out if you're just going to replace him with another one or a younger one or a whiter one or whatever. So on the one hand, maybe he didn't do enough to keep his support from us, certainly. But by the same token, I can't really call it a win if we're just going to replace him with another controlled puppet that really effectively, what are they going to do different than he was doing? So I would have a hard time counting it as a win under those circumstances.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, thank you so much for taking my call, and B1 to you always in the family. All right. And great broadcast as usual.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, like I said, there's been certain folk who've been kicked out and tossed out and things like that. But yeah, with that being the case, and I'm not sure I can count it a win until you can assure me that the person replacing them is going to be a quantitative change and a quantitative difference. If they're just replacing one puppet with another puppet or one really crazy off agenda with another one, it's just like, basically it was a non-event. Somebody in the chat room said, where Nina Turner been at? Nina Turner's been waiting for the party. She's been sitting up here seeing if she can get the party to support her because the party's against her. I've been trying to tell people this forever here. This is really a generational thing. The old guard does not want to get out of the way. The old guard wants to preserve the corrupt system status quo as it currently is. So there's the real issue. The real issue is the old guard wants to keep things the way it is. So folk like Nina Turner, that's the issue that they're running into. AOC was able to slip through, but the party has been hard at work to make sure there aren't a whole lot more AOCs. So, yes, you are dealing with a very corrupt political infrastructure. Absolutely. You really are. That's they are. That's they are. And this is all the more reason for us to be vigilant. It's all the more reason for us. And also for us to get our damn weight up. It's also very essential that we do that. It is not enough for us to just have complaints. You've got to have the ability to support the people who need to have it. Because the establishment, that's what they do. They provide funding and infrastructure to be able to support the puppets that they want. They provide the funding and the infrastructure to support the puppets that they want. And they're unapologetic about doing so. So in addition to everything else, we can't just have complaints and, we can't just have a rah-rah session either. You definitely got to be able to pass the hat about these things. And I think this case in Florida, it could be something useful. It could be. I guess we'll see how Luther handles it. Let me be clear about a few things, folks. I'm not holding any grudges about anything. Jason, he was this and this and this, that, and the other. Of course, I know about it. I was talking about it when it happened. I was one of the loudest voices speaking about it when it occurred. I covered all this when it occurred. Remember, he's talking about reparations ain't no issue, and their issue is housing.
Nigga, what?
Yeah, folks, I was there. I covered it. I covered it in real time. You can go back and go take a look through my archive. You can see I covered all of this in real time when it happened. And he was talking about reparations wasn't the issue and housing is the issue and this, that, and the other. I covered all this then. Okay. Well, now you have an opportunity to convince us why reparations is kind of important here now. But he's not the only one. And there's the real thing that we have to be able to demonstrate, folks. We have to demonstrate that we are highly receptive to those things. If these are your issues and this is your agenda, you have to show through your actions, not your words, through your actions, that you are highly responsive to this. That does not mean that you get up and vote for anybody who says they're for reparations. That's not what you do. What it does mean is that you show people that your ears perk up whenever and wherever this issue comes up. That's the message that you send to people, is that you're very highly responsive to it. And that you will respond not just with words, you respond with your vote, you respond with your dollars, you respond with your feet on the ground. Those are the kind of things that you want to show. You want to show that you are not at all apathetic about this. And whether it is this, or black hate crime, or anything else of the sort that we've been promoting and advancing for here, that's the kind of thing that you want to show. You want to show that you're not apathetic about that. You want to show you have your finger on the pulse. And yes, you also want to show and demonstrate that you are willing to spend on a dime for a candidate who shows they support your issues. Case in point, folks, what is the big Donnybrook and the fallout on the right? What is it about? Folks, what the right-wing civil war, what has it been about? The fact that all the neocons, all the never-Trumpers are suddenly the biggest Trump supporters strictly because of Israel. Ben Shapiro was a never-Trumper. He literally said he would never vote for Trump. 2016, Trump is unacceptable. He would never vote for Trump. Next thing you know, Miriam Adelson has Trump in her back pocket, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump is the greatest president ever for Ben Shapiro. 2016, I would never vote for Trump. He is awful. He's terrible. He's a phony. Oh, well, folks, 8 short years later, all that goes out the window. See, this is how these other folks do that. Mark Levin, all these other people, the folks who are pushing that Israel agenda today, these were all the never-Trumpers. They were all the never-Trumpers, and now they control the damn cabinet. So this is not novel. This is the way of politics, people. At the Republican National Convention in 2024, Trump was surrounded by a bunch of people. Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley. We covered all of this. They were all never Trumpers. Some of them were jail Trumpers. Okay, how'd that turn out? So I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. I am reminding you of the real facts on the ground of history. I'm reminding you of that. This is how things actually go, not how you fantasize it in your head. People, life is messy. Politics is the messiest of all. These things are messy. If you want something clean, take yourself to church, although that might not be the place for cleanliness either. But if you want to deal with the griminess of this world and the dirtiness of this world, then you have to get serious. This is where you're going to have to be at. These other folk are showing you they don't have egos about that. They have interests. And if the candidate is supporting their interests, they will spin on a dime. Now, this is what these other folk are showing you with their actions. They will spin on a dime. If the candidate supports their interests, supports what they're working for, is backing what they're doing. Last week, it was, I would never vote for this bastard. This week, everybody needs to vote for Trump. These other folk ain't talking about it, people. They're living it. J.D. Vance was a never Trumper. What? Remember? J.D. Vance compared Trump to Hitler. J.D. Vance was a never Trumper. Now he's the damn vice president of the United States. Catch a clue. Everybody else, this is standard operating procedure for everyone else. Catch a clue. They've been doing this. This is not something new that I'm suggesting. This is standard operating procedure for literally everybody else. I've been trying to remind you all, if you take a look at the last century of warfare, the last 120 years of war, folks, literally 1 minute these countries are your adversaries, the next minute they're your, quote, allies, the next minute they're adversaries again. The U.S. and the Soviet Union, the U.S. and Russia, China and India, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Folks, when you track these countries over the last 120 years, 1 minute they fighting with folk, the next minute they're, quote, allies with them. 30 years later, they back shooting at them again. It depends on what their interests are at that time. I'm not inventing this. I'm not creating it. This is standard procedure across the board. This is what everybody else been doing. Because they know they can't afford to have an ego about it. Their interests are at stake, and when they have an opportunity to advance their interests, they take it. The fella you're voting for today, he's your best option today. We might wake up in a year from now and there's a better option than him. It doesn't even have to be that he's a bad option. It may be that in a year from now we found a better option. So if he's able to move the ball down the field 5 yards, in a year from now we might get somebody who moves the ball down the field 20 yards. Okay, we got to let go of Mr. 5 yards over here. It's been real and it's been good, but it ain't been real good. And hey, we found a better horse. This is the way it goes. If he can get the job done better, that's where we're going. So we voted for you this year. People, we are in business. We ain't in love.
And deal with it, nigga.
We are not in love. We are in business. And whoever you vote for or support now, that's the person you support today. That may change tomorrow. Maybe they went bad. Then again, maybe you found a better option. There's any number of reasons that you might have to dump them. That's the way that goes. I mean, there's a bunch of folk here never even thought about this before. This is how that happens. They might not go bad. We just might find a better option. If we do, it is in our interest to promote that individual because we have allegiance to our interests, not individuals. And whoever is the best option to advance our interests, that's who we support. It has nothing to do with if we like them. We have an obligation to promoting our interests. That's what you're giving your children. That's what you're giving your people, is promotion of your interests. And so folks who are your quote enemies today, okay, that's today. That could change tomorrow. Hell, that could change tonight. That could change tonight. So understand about having the proper attitude about these things. You don't sit up here and listen to folk who just say silly things all the damn time. You have the proper attitude. We don't have any permanent enemies. And I've just shown you all tonight through my actions in practice. I would break bread with Luther Campbell. We can chop it up. We can have a discussion. Absolutely. Jason, he said this, that, and the other. Yes, I know. I reported on it. What about now? I'm like, that was then. This is now. What are they offering? Jason, is that cold-blooded? Nigga, it's that cold-blooded. What are they offering now? These other folk out here, folk get shot in the damn street. They blowing up countries. Next thing you know, they sign an agreement and folks are building power plants and building AI data centers. Then you got somebody who wants to sound like they're smart talking about, he said some bad things, we didn't like you before. And you think you sound smart, you're not. But, I mean, go ahead, man. Go ahead on this. I think I sound smart. Okay, I'm sure you think a lot of things. But if you want to be real and literal about it, it's like, yeah, that's the way that goes, people. Take your ego out of it. Put your logic and your interests on your head, not your ego. And then that's how your conversations need to be conducted. If after you have a conversation with them, they have not convinced you that they're going to protect your interests, well, then you make whatever decision you need to make after that. But what you do not do is go in the room talking about, I've already made up my mind about who I'm going to support. You don't do that. Everybody has to make the best deal to you. You have to hold everyone to that. Folks have to be forced to compete for your vote. They don't have an entitlement to it. And you want them to compete heavily. You want them to start outbidding each other. That's how you show you are serious about it. That's how you show that you're serious. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Mark B. Thank you very much for your support here tonight, Mark B. We appreciate that. To Wesley, to Neptune Beauty here. Appreciate that as well. Najee, Cameron, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. So click that subscribe button, that notification button. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work at blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future are our interests.